Hello everyone, welcome to the grand opening of Avasaur Park. I'm glad you could join us on this special occasion. My name is Cal.
I'm Will.
I'm Addie.
I'm Kieran.
Now I'm pretty sure all of you have seen a bird before, whether it be in your backyard, the zoo, or in the prairies. But today's ride is going to take you through millions of years of evolution in a matter of minutes. Buckle your seatbelts, kids. It's going to be a fast and bumpy ride. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
All right. Here we go, going through.
I'm so excited.
Watch out for
Keep
the
your hands and
dinosaurs.
feet inside the vehicle at all times.
Okay, fast forward 80 million years to where the climate. Pause.
Okay. Our first stop takes us 230 million years into the Jurassic period to experience the creation of the first theropod. What's a theropod?
I have no idea.
Theropod literally translates into beast-footed. Their characters include being bipedal. They have hollow bones, 3 digits on their hand, 3 main weight-bearing digits, sharp curved teeth, and claws. What type of dinosaur do you think a bird would have evolved from?
I'm not sure what specific dinosaurs gave rise to birds.
Actually, they evolved from the dinosaurs in the following exhibits. There is fossil evidence that supports that birds evolved from these beast-footed animals. Modern-day birds share the same lizard-like pelvis structure as the theropods.
Okay, now it's my turn. Fast forward 80 million years to where the climate is similar to that of an area much like the tropical rainforest in South America, where it is warm and moist and where plants were able to thrive. The first dinosaur we come to is Archaeopteryx. Here's a picture just to visualize. Has anyone ever heard of this prehistoric bird-like creature?
I have not. Tell me more.
Well, this bird-like species is considered to be the oldest on record. Fossils of Archaeopteryx show the start of the transitional period from dinosaurs to that of modern-day birds. Archaeopteryx had features of both dinosaurs and modern birds. What do you think are some characteristics that they share?
I think Archaeopteryx has sharp teeth.
Correct. The features of a dinosaur displayed through its beak, which had sharp, curved teeth. This allowed it to eat meat, much like that of a small dinosaur. It had 3 claws on each wing and a long bony tail that was similar to those of small dinosaurs. For example, an Archaeopteryx compares to the small carnivorous dinosaur Compsognathus. And here is an image of that. Because of its hollow bones, sharp teeth, 2 claws on each hand, and a long bony tail. However, it also showed characteristics of a modern bird through its body-shaped feathers and wings, as you can see on the picture. Archaeopteryx were actually not able to fly for long or fly well because their feathers were too heavy on them.
Okay, so Archaeopteryx were considered one of the type species throughout the Jurassic period, and we didn't see that change until the Cretaceous period. So the Jurassic period and the Cretaceous period follows the Jurassic period, and during the Cretaceous period you see the extinction of dinosaurs and the development of many different bird-like species. And in the next couple of stops we're going to go through the Cretaceous period and its species. So for the first stop in the Cretaceous period, we're going to show you the Confucius sonorus bird, which was actually found in Southeast China relatively recently. It showed I thought it was cool how they named it. They named it after the main religion in China just because it was where it was found. But anyways, do you think a Confucius sonorus was identical to the bird we just learned about?
Yes, I think so.
You'd actually be wrong. Although they have many features similar to that of an Archaeopteryx, Confucius sonorus were special because they lacked teeth in their beak, and this allowed scientists to classify them as the first prehistoric bird with a true beak. They also had long claws and lightweight feathers, which allowed their life in the trees to be made easier. So they used the trees for protection, habitat, and food, much like a modern-day bird.
As the Cretaceous period progressed, a new species arose, the Enantiornithus. Does anyone know what anti-ornithus means.
It sounds like something that was made up.
No, it actually means opposite bird. It got this name due to the opposite bone, or the different bone structures it possessed, as well as having sharp teeth. But it did have some similarities to modern birds, such as advanced flight patterns, a short skeletal tail, and asymmetrical flight feathers. The bird-like species is thought to have been carnivorous, could have been found throughout the world due to fossil evidence found on multiple continents.
Okay, so now as you look to your left, you'll see the Hesipinithurus, which is this bird. And this bird was actually considered the only true dinosaur to colonize the ocean. And because of that, what modern day animal do you think a Hesipinithurus resembled most?
Was it a whale?
This prehistoric bird can compare to a modern day penguin because of its behavior and body shape. The Hesipinithurus bird actually lived mostly in the water, like 90% of its life. It had very small but very powerful legs that propelled it through the water very easily and enabled it to thrive in the ocean. However, the legs were extremely awkward on land. It made it very difficult for the bird to walk because they were so far back on the body. The bird actually only came on land during nesting and mating season. It fed in the water, it had a very fishy diet, and it spent most of its life in the water. And this is a picture of a Hesipinithurus, and it just compares it to a modern day penguin.
It's not a whale.
No, it's not a whale.
Sorry.
Next on our tour, we're going to take a look at the bird-like Ichthyornis. Ichthyornis allowed scientists to connect bird to a reptilian origin and make the connection to theropods. This connection was made possible because of the fact that this particular bird had teeth within its jaw instead of its beak. What modern-day bird does Ichthyornis resemble?
A pelican?
What about now?
A seagull.
Good job, everybody.
Correct. Ichthyornis is considered to be similar to the modern-day seagulls due to their similar ecological niches and also fed on similar marine wildlife. These birds were competent flyers and their wings were capable of efficient flight strokes.
So now, with the conclusion of this Cretaceous period and the Mesozoic era, a new era began called the Cenozoic era. This era was divided up into two separate periods, one called the Paleogene period and the other called the Neogene period. Starting with the Paleogene period, dinosaurs and other large marine reptiles started disappearing from Earth. And as this period progressed, new life forms that are still relevant today began to fill oceans, dominate land, and cover the skies. With various climate changes during this period, the new species were able to arise.
Our first stop during the Paleogene period takes us to Diatrema. Diatrema, according to George Musto, replaced dinosaurs as the top predator. This so-called bird could grow up to 7 feet and had functionless forelimbs like a T-Rex. It was flightless due to the small arms and wings, lacked talons, and was considered a fast runner. This bird is considered to be omnivorous, even though mostly carnivorous.
Fast forwarding through the Cenozoic era into the Neogene period, you see many biological changes throughout the environment, mostly attributed to the fact that the environment changed from dense closed vegetation areas such as forests to the expansion of open vegetation to deserts, tundras, and grasslands. And because of this, it led to the diversification of temperate ecosystems and morphological changes in animals. This period brings us to the Ferrosahacos. The Ferrosahacos lived in the grassy hills of the Patagonian mountain range, which would be about like Argentina, modern-day South America. And these birds were flightless and carnivorous. They could grow up to 8 feet tall and weigh around 300 pounds. And because of that, they were actually given the nickname terror bird. Because they were carnivorous, they developed a hooked beak. And the hooked beak, like right here, you can see how big it is and how hooked it is. They use the hook to tear apart the meat and capture their prey as well as their talons on their wings. They had 3 talons on their wings. And scientists believe that they either use the talons or the beak to capture the prey, depending on the type of prey. And then they would actually crush the prey in its beak, and that's how they got their food. And they also believe that the bigger the beak, the better the male, according to the female. So they use the beak as a mating ritual. So the bigger the beak, the more attractive it was, and the more likely they were to have mates. And then this is just a scale how big a terror bird would be compared to a human. So obviously they were huge and terror birds. But anyways, and then to compare to a modern day species, you can look at modern carnivorous birds such as eagles and hawks and see the curvature on their beaks and see how they get their prey.
All right, we finally arrived at our last stop, modern day birds. Modern day birds include eagles, penguins, ostriches, seagulls, just to name a few. As you learned previously on the tour, each of these birds are descendants from our first stop, which is theropods. Whether it be through their feathers, beaks, or digits, each characteristic can be traced back millions of years. Some derived characteristics of the modern day birds include they have a four-chambered heart, they have feathers, an expanded skull, a large brain, their toothlessness, and then 3 digits on their feet. And so now I think we have a transitional video that we're going to show you kind of the difference between theropods and modern day birds.
I can't see the mouse when it's on that, so I have to get it up before it. So as you can see, it's going to start transforming.
And then it'll
You
kind
see
of
the
take off.
formation of the wings.
Right, and then it'll kind of get higher and higher,
And then
and
it's
then it'll finally
shrinking to the tail.
take off in flight.
So would that be archaeologists? What do you
Yeah,
think?
Yeah.
grabs it right
The
down.
hybrid.
Right, and then
The hybrid, and
there
then you get down.
it goes off into a modern day bird.
Down to a modern seagull.
And to show you a more visual image, here's how it goes from kind of theropod to that of a modern day bird. It's
Before you do fun facts, I forgot to mention our last piece of evidence. It was supposed to be during my Confucius stop. But okay, so this is an Archaeopteryx beak compared to a Confucius beak. So you can see the difference in the teeth and then the smooth beak of a Confucius bird. But scientists have recently done experiments on embryos of modern day birds. So they looked at the fossilized eggs of dinosaurs and looked at the embryos and saw the physical similarities in modern day embryos and prehistoric embryos. And because of the physical similarities, they decided to see if it was the same on a molecular level. And they manipulated genes in a modern day embryo, a modern day bird embryo, and actually the birds, when they manipulated the genes, actually developed a more Archaeopteryx beak and a more dinosauric face. And so the birds aren't allowed to hatch because of ethical reasons, but we just thought it was really interesting that they can still manipulate the birds. It's just one gene that can cause it.
Okay, now we have some fun facts for you guys before we end our tour. Although the word dinosaur means terrible lizard, the name is somewhat misleading as dinosaurs are not lizards. Instead, they represent a separate group of reptiles that, like many extinct forms, do not exhibit characteristics traditionally seen as reptilian, such as sprawling limb posture or ectothermy. Another one is, no one knows exactly how long a dinosaur's lifespan is. Some scientists speculate that some dinosaurs lived for as long as 200 years. Also, this is pretty interesting. The chicken is the closest living relative to the Tyrannosaurus rex. Scientists analyzed the proteins in collagen that was preserved from a T-Rex fossil they found. These results match predictions made from skeletal anatomy, providing the first molecular evidence for the evolutionary relationships for non-avian dinosaurs.
All right, now as we near the closing gates, I want to thank you all for joining us during this special occasion. And don't forget to visit the gift shop. Kids, dinosaur rubber heads are 50% off. So get your own.